Well, look, I think the reason we're in this mess in the first place is because we've oversimplified the science, we've oversimplified the engineering and the debate down to an inch of its life. So please don't spare us the detail or the technical detail if you have to, but let's just go through the problem with this intermittent renewable energy bit by bit. The first challenge, as you say, is intermittency. What are the engineering challenges that have to be overcome in order to turn this intermittent energy, DC, direct current power, into dispatchable alternating current power?
Well, the first thing that you have to do is to recognise that you are going to have multiple, literally thousands of sites eventually, where the electrons are going to be produced. These can be from quite small solar farms, which sometimes operate during the day, to small and much larger wind turbine farms, which operate when the wind blows. And the basic idea is that you have to get the electrons that are produced from the solar panels or from the wind turbines, and you have to turn that into a 50 hertz high voltage source of electricity, the one that we're used to. And there are two important things about that. The first thing is that the 50 hertz is important, so the frequency right across the grid has to be correlated. So you have to match, when you start to turn it into alternating current, AC as we call it, you have to match that to the grid before you can put it into the grid, otherwise you have a mess. So at every fence where there's a significant amount of power, there are devices that convert the frequency and pump up the voltage so that it can be fed into the local grid. Now that's a big challenge because these dilute intermittent resources, the wind speed can be changing while you're doing this, or alternatively the sun can be going down and the solar panels are effectively switching off for the day because they only work on sunlight. I think it's important to say that the renewables are the wind and the sunlight. The machines that convert that into electricity are definitely not renewable. Wind turbines and solar panels are highly resource intensive. And so when we talk about these intermittent renewable forms of energy, we're talking about the sources, sunlight and wind or breezes. The machines that actually convert the electricity are really originally designed for quite small facilities, quite close to populations, where they could have a small conversion facility that would convert it to a reasonable current and get the frequency right and feed it into that community. What we are doing as a nation now is a unique experiment. It's an absolutely unique experiment. I do not know of another industrialized country in the world which is seeking to achieve 100% intermittent renewable energy into a massive grid connecting a number of states in order to provide reliable electricity for our economy, for our families, and for our security for the future. One of the things that Kevin Rudd mentioned was national security. So as a result of that, I think we have to deeply, deeply question whether it is feasible from an engineering perspective to introduce these dilute intermittent sources into a very complex grid.